Coriolanus is like an action movie. It's exhilarating, captivating, and has you on the edge of your seat. The writer of this play is William Shakespeare. He was born on April 23rd, 1654, in Stratford-upon-Avon. His father, John, was a leather worker and a former bailiff. His mother, Mary, came from a prominent family and would inherit some wealth. Due to his father's status as a former civil servant, Shakespeare was able to attend Stratford's grammar school free of charge. It was here that he learned Latin and was introduced to plays. Shakespeare finished school at the age of 15, and he proceeded to marry Anne Hathaway when he was 18. They had three children, Susanna, Hamnet, and Judith. Over the next few decades, Shakespeare would move to London and act as a playwright and actor. He was a partner in the Lord Chamberlain Men's Acting Company, which was later renamed the King's Men. He produced 38 plays, 2 narrative poems, and 154 sonnets. Most of these were collected and published after his death in what is considered the First Folio. Eventually, after writing his last play in 1613, Shakespeare passed away on April 23rd, 1616. He bids his friends and family farewell, just as I will when I reenact Coriolanus' banishment from Rome in Scene 1 of Act 4. So to start, Coriolanus is a story of Caius Marcius Coriolanus' life in Rome during the early 5th century BCE. At the start of the book, the scene is the streets of Rome, where the lower class are rebelling and raising arms against the upper class. There's a famine going on, and they believe that the price of corn is far too high, and that the upper class are not being benevolent enough to support the lower class. They jeer and mock the upper class, and they call for blood. In particular, they chant for one name, and that is Caius Marcius. Well, Caius Marcius steps out of the Senate house and addresses them directly. He calls them spineless, baseless cowards, and he says that if he could, he would hang every one of them so the upper class have more food for themselves, because he believes they have not earned their right to live in Rome. The lower class hate Marcius for his excessive pride and his arrogance, and is open to staying at his treatment of the lower class, but there's nothing they can do, so they lay down their arms and go home. Two senators in particular dislike this behavior. These are the tribunes and representatives of the common people, Brutus and Sicinius. Unfortunately, at this time, there's nothing they can do. The scene shifts to the home, and two young ladies are talking. One is Volumnia, the mother of Coriolanus, and the other one is Virgilia, whom is the wife of Marcius Coriolanus. Volumnia believes that she would rather see her son come home in a casket than unharmed from this upcoming conflict, because she believes that pride and glory are all that matter, that courage and valor are the most important things a young man can have. Virgilia, on the other hand, simply wants Marcius to come home safe and sound so he can father their young child. Well, news is brought to them that Communus, a former consul of Rome, as well as the general of the Roman army, has selected Lartius and Marcius to be his two lieutenants in the upcoming siege of the Volscian city of Coriolanus. The Volscians are the enemy of the Romans, whom were planning to make an assault on Rome. However, Rome decided to take the initiative. The leader of the Volscians is Tullus Audifus, whom has a long history with Marcius. The scene very quickly shifts to the battlefield, where Marcius is leading the charge with no regard for his own well-being. He simply wants to defeat Rome's enemies and bring glory home. At one point, he is trapped inside the city of Coriolanus by himself, where he then fights his way out, drenched in the blood of his enemies. And, although he's deadbeat tired, he proceeds to raise his sword again and charge the other army on the other side of the city, where Tullus Adolphus is leading his men. In a duel, he very quickly wins and proves his superiority. Once the city of Coriolanus has been defeated, Commius names Marcius Coriolanus. This is due to his single-handed victory and conquest of the city of Coriolanus. As they go home, he's paraded throughout the town and is one of the most respected members of Rome. All the upper class and middle class and senators are saying that he should be elected to the council. However, the commoners do not agree with this. Although they believe he's an amazing warrior and they respect his efforts on the battlefield, they do not believe he treats them well enough. And the two tribunes Brutus and Sicinius incite them against Coriolanus. Well, that inciting works, because as they continue to further anger Coriolanus, he, never one opposed to speaking his mind, tells them what he truly believes of the common people in the lower class. He believes it is disgusting that he should have to lower himself to ask them for their approval to be consul. He believes they should have no say in a country in which they are nothing but rats, but vermin, but scum. Well, a skirmish quickly occurs between the upper and lower class, and soon the tribunes are calling Coriolanus a traitor. They are saying that his actions have disrespected their positions as his betters, although they are of less noble birth, and that he is acting as a traitor to Rome and its hierarchy. Very quickly, they have incited all the common people against him and are calling for his banishment, to which the upper class is forced to agree. Coriolanus is then banished, and this is where I will be reenacting scene 1 of Act 4, which is when Coriolanus says his farewells to his family and friends. Come, leave your tears. A brief farewell. Where is your ancient courage? You who used to say that extremity was the trier of spirits, that common chances common men could bear, though when the sea was calm, all boats alike showed mastership in floating. Fortune blows when most struck home, being gently wounded, craves a noble turning. You who used to load me with these percepts that would make invincible the heart that condemned. What? I shall be loved when I am lacked? Nay, mother, resume that spirit, and you were wont to say that if you had been Hercules' wife, 6 of his labors you would have done, and saved your husband so much sweat. Comenius, droop not. Do farewell, my wife, my mother. I'll do well yet. Oh, the old and true Menenius, thy tears are saltier than a younger man's, and venomous to thine eyes. Of the war surfeits go to rove with me, and that's yet unbruised, bring me out to gate. Oh, come, my sweet wife, my dearest mother, my friends of noble touch. When I am forth, bid me farewell, and smile, I pray you come. After the end of scene 1 of Act 4, when Coriolanus bids farewell to his friends, family, and the city of Rome, he finds himself in the city of Antium, which is where Tullus Aphidius, as well as the remaining Volscian people, are trying to regain their strength so they may attempt to conquer Rome yet again. Coriolanus immediately declares himself to be an enemy of the Roman Empire, and he's welcomed with open arms. Tullus Aphidius' respect for his battle prowess and strength as a soldier caused him to give him half of his leadership as well as half of his power over the Volscian army. Very quickly, Coriolanus begins to lead the Volscian troops to victory through town and town and town in the Roman Empire as they charge towards the capital. Now, Aphidius realizes this was a mistake right away because the soldiers are beginning to respect Coriolanus more than himself, in part because of the newfound success they're having under him, but also due to the fact that Coriolanus defeated Aphidius in battle 5 times. Eventually, they do reach the capital, and Rome makes very few attempts to stop them with actual force. However, they do attempt to stop him emotionally. Comenius, his former general and friend, goes out and speaks to Coriolanus. However, he's unable to convince him. His old friend and father figure, Menenius, does the same, but he reaches the same result. Finally, Coriolanus' mother and wife go out and they cry in a tearful display of love and compassion. They beg him to show mercy on the Roman people, that it takes a bigger man, a stronger enemy, to show mercy than one who would simply conquer and slaughter. Coriolanus lets these words seep into his mind and change his opinion, and he agrees, both because the idea of proving himself to be a stronger and more noble warrior entices him, but also the fact that he does have a soft spot and a love for his family and friends. Phidias sees this and immediately realizes that this is his opportunity to regain his power. He presents his case to the lords of the Volscian Senate, and he tells them how Coriolanus is a traitor who has given up their advantageous position over the enemy, and how Rome could have been conquered with all of the spoils of war going to the Volscian people, but now they're unable to conquer and claim what is theirs because of the tears of a few women, the few tears of women. Very quickly, Phidias finds fellow co-conspirators as well as some lords to be on his side, and they accuse Coriolanus of being a traitor. Coriolanus attempts to defend himself in a heated argument, and he quickly incites the anger of the Volscian people. They remember that he is the one who had murdered their sons and their fathers and their brothers, and soon the Volscian people turned against Coriolanus, and in a violent display, Phidias and his co-conspirators murdered Coriolanus. However, some of the lords who still respected him as a noble warrior were appalled. Even Phidias himself was appalled in the end that he let his cold-blooded rage and greed for power let him kill an ally in cold blood. So then it was agreed upon that he would be given a hero's burial. Now it is never discussed whether or not the city of Rome was conquered. However, Coriolanus had said that a peace treaty had been made, so it can be assumed that a treaty is what occurred.
There are several themes that can be seen throughout Coriolanus. The most prominent themes are the effects of greed, pride, and class. The greed of the tribunes led to the downfall of Rome. The pride of Coriolanus led for him to be banished. The differences in class drove wedges between members of the same empire. One theme in particular really stands out. Coriolanus' belief in himself and obstinate refusal to behave as someone he isn't is a powerful message. In the scene I reenacted, Coriolanus is essentially saying that he shall be fine as long as he is himself. He does not need the approval of others nor the sympathy of others. He stands on his own 2 feet, and that is all that matters. His reputation, his bonds, and his life doesn't matter unless he can take pride in himself. Although too much of anything is a bad thing, I believe that his message of self-love and solace within oneself is critical to a happy life. The praise of others doesn't matter if you do not believe in yourself. Throughout the entire novel, I cannot fault Coriolanus, for he simply did what he believed was best. Coriolanus is unique in comparison to other Shakespearean works. It is the silences and unsaid words that create the most dramatic and meaningful sensations in Coriolanus, rather than long, drawn-out soliloquies or expressions of emotion. Furthermore, Coriolanus' changing his ways causes his death, whereas typically imminent death causes characters to change their ways in other works. Personally, Coriolanus is by far my favorite work of Shakespeare. It possesses action and treachery and themes which often cause me to sit on the fence. For pride is the downfall of man, but what is a man without pride?